Welcome to College 101 Part 2 Application Process. We're going to be looking through the overarching application process and then we'll be diving into the specifics. Your first step in the application process is going to be researching and selecting schools that you're going to be applying to. One of the easier ways to do this is based on your college major, and one search engine we have for looking for schools is called Big Future. In addition to the search engine, you can look for scholarships on Big Future and explore careers, but we're going to go ahead and look at the college search option, and it's totally free to sign up. On the left, you'll see that there's different filters for things that you may be looking for in a school. So based on each filter, every time you add something that you're looking for, it'll lessen your results. So originally there was over 3,700 schools. I just put in registered nursing. That took us down to 1,700 schools with that option. One other good search engine is academic credit. Maybe you have AP tests or have dual enrollment and you want to make sure the school accepts to your college credits for credit. Again, every time you add a search, it's going to lower your numbers here. And then if it has a red star and it says college application fee waiver available, then you know that they're going to take a fee waiver for economically disadvantaged students. And basically, you can toggle between the schools and it organizes the information for you in one place, which saves you time instead of going to all the different specific websites while you're researching. And then if you really like the school, you can save it as long as you create that free account. So some of you may not know what you want to search for in a college. You may not know your college major. If you're at that point, that's okay. If you're going to a four-year school, you really just need to decide by your second year of college to graduate on time. But you should be trying to figure it out. This website, collegefortn.org, is through the state. They also have college search on their website, but that's going to be specific to Tennessee instead of national. And then with the career planning aspect, those show you statistics of job growth fields in Tennessee. And then if you create a free account through this website, you can take different interest inventories that will provide recommendations and careers that you can research to find a good fit for you based on your personality and individual characteristics. One other thing you're going to want to consider is if you want to stay in state or go out of state. Tennessee has a lot of scholarship programs for our high school graduates who go to college here. And we'll talk about that more in the financial aid section. But if you are looking at out-of-state schools, you'll also want to apply to some in-state schools just in case you need those financial aid options. Then you're going to want to visit your final choices. I know with COVID that can be a little difficult right now. Depending on the school, they may be only offering virtual tours, or they may also be offering in-person tours. But you're going to want to get on campus at some point because just looking at a school online, it may be different on campus, and you want to make sure you're comfortable and it's a good fit for you before you make that final decision. And then you'll be doing all your applications during this first fall semester. Just as a generic deadline, we tell kids to do it by December 1st, but you're going to want to make sure you pay attention to your school's specific admissions deadlines. They may have an earlier deadline in order to be considered for their scholarships. Or if you're doing early decision or early application, it may be an early deadline as well. The earliest deadline I've ever seen is October 15th, or maybe in November, but you definitely have to make sure you apply during this first semester and then pay attention to your school's deadlines. Any school that you're admitted into in the spring, you'll receive a financial aid package from them, and you can compare those packages to make your final decision. So that's the overarching look at it, and now we're going to dive into the specific steps. So first you have to apply. You'll go to your chosen college's Office of Admissions website, see what they require for an application. Just generically, the basics are going to be submitting that application fee, if you're economically disadvantaged and the school accepts it, there may be a fee waiver. Official ACT or SAT score, again, due to COVID, some schools are waiving that for admissions. And then your official high school transcript. If you're applying to a private school or a selective school to get into, they may require additional things like an essay, a school report, counselor recommendation, and recommendations from your teachers. So those application fee waivers, you'll be coded as economically disadvantaged. This is based on your household size and annual income and infinite campus. If for some reason you're not coded that way, you can fill out this district application. You'll receive a letter at home and then share the status of that letter with your counselor. And once they can see you qualify, then they can go ahead and sign off on that fee waiver for you. So we looked on Big Future's website, and you could see which schools had the red star and accepted application fee waivers. If you are filling out a common application, then you would request fee waivers through your account. Just another way Common App makes things more simple and saves time for everyone in the process. If you're not applying on Common Application, then you check with your admissions office to see what they accept for fee waivers. Some schools may have a specific form they want filled out, like MTSU. Otherwise, there's this generic form that all schools will accept if they don't have a specific form. And as a student, you would fill one out for each school, sign that you are economically disadvantaged, and then you would send this to your school counselor, and they would send it to the admissions office to waive the fee. And then just as an aside, during September 21st to the 23rd, anyone interested in University of Tennessee Martin, they are waiving any application fee for that period for everyone. All right, so we talked about how some schools may be waiving the ACT or SAT requirement for admissions. Those policies are still changing, so you're going to want to look at that for each of your selected schools. And just because it's waived for admission doesn't mean that it's waived for all things. It may still be required for academic scholarships or to get into honors college, so just make sure that you read specifically what that policy is for each school and how that would affect you. And then for some of our students, if you are a good candidate for a highly selective school, then you may have an increased chance of getting in by doing an early decision or early action admissions plan. And if you select early action, that's not going to be binding, but if you do early decision, that is binding. Basically, that means that you are agreeing to attend if you're accepted and you're offered a financial aid package that is adequate for your family. And at that time, you would withdraw all other applications if you're accepted by early decision. So who should be applying early decision or early admissions? If you've extensively researched colleges, you're absolutely 100% sure that this one college is your first choice. It's a perfect match for you in every way. You meet or exceed their admissions profile, and you have a consistent academic record, then early decisions or early admission would be a good option for you. If you've not researched colleges thoroughly, you're applying just to early to avoid some stress or paperwork, you're not fully committed to that specific college, you're only doing it because some of your friends are, or you need the fall semester grades to bump up your GPA, you should not be applying early decision or early action. So one time saving website for applications is called the Common Application. They have over 900 schools on the website for options that are listed here on this link. And they also have a slight college search on the left-hand side where you can look at, for instance, some of our students need aid for international students. You can see what schools in the country that are on their website offer that. That would be if you're not eligible for financial aid from the government. All right, so if you look at the list and at least 2 of your schools are on there, then you should definitely do the common application, because you only have to do your application one time. If you have essays, you do that one time. If you need recommenders, they only have to complete it once. And on your account, you select what schools it goes to. So it saves everyone time in the process. The Common App writing supplements, if your school does require an essay, this is actually at least 3 years running where they've kept the questions the same. So if you happen to look at this last year and prepared some essays in advance, then you'll be a step ahead. And you will also need your school counselor's email and potentially up to 2 other emails of teacher recommenders when you're filling out the common application. Just as an aside, Jack Kent Cooke Foundation Scholarship is through the Common App. Deadline to apply is October 30th. And then new this year is ScholarSnap. This is a free scholarship search engine that connects you to scholarships you'd be eligible to apply for based on your information. And they pull this from the Common App. So that can save you time to get your ScholarSnap account. And there's a video there you can watch that explains that. All right, so if you do need recommendations from someone, you need to make sure you're giving them at least 2 weeks advance and let them know what the deadlines are for. If this is for a scholarship or college admissions, because the letter will be written slightly different. And then if you have a resume, you need to go ahead and give that to the person you're asking to write the letter so they can write an individualized, really good letter for you. For some reason you don't have a resume, then most of us has like a student profile we'll have you fill out to provide that information for us. ACT scores come from ACT. They're not on our transcripts. Metro does not send them. If for some reason you don't have an ACT student account by now, you need to make one. And then once you have an account, you can send your scores. It does cost $13 for each score you send to each school. But whenever you sign up to test, you have the opportunity to list 4 schools to receive them for free. So make sure you don't skip that step. And then filling out your official transcript, we have a link to our school counseling website. The actual website for the transcripts is ordertranscript.com, but we have a how-to video on here. It is a little bit complicated, so if you get stuck when you're going through that process, you can watch the video. And just a reminder, for Nashville State, your college credits from there come from there. So when you're complete with your dual enrollment classes, you would request your transcript directly from Nashville State to be sent to your school of choice. And then just keep in mind that it's school staff who do those online transcript requests for you. So they're only going to be working during school hours. So make sure you plan accordingly for deadlines. These are all the ACT and SAT test dates remaining this year. Your deadline to sign up is always going to be about a month in advance. And again, for students who are economically disadvantaged, fee waiver may be available to you. Just check with your school counselor. And ACT has upped that from 2 fee waivers to 4. So even if you use 2, you could still get 2 more. All right, any school you apply to, some of them may have guaranteed admissions requirements, which just means if you meet these requirements, you will for sure get in. This example is through MTSU. In addition to guaranteed, they may also have conditional admissions requirements. They're saying even if you don't meet guaranteed, there's a chance you could still get in, but you're going to have to fill out some short essay questions for us, a personal statement, and then if they decide you get in, you'll probably have to participate your freshman year in a special program for conditional admission students and then meet certain requirements before you're fully admitted. And then in addition to academic requirements for getting in, colleges expect you to have completed certain classes. MTSU is going to match what the Tennessee graduation requirements are, but if you're applying to a selective school or an out-of-state school, you'll want to make sure that you don't need to do something additional. And if you don't get in, your backup plan can always be community college.